Welcome back to the kingdom. Yes, today we're going to be discussing the Breakfast Club yet again, but it's pretty interesting, man. They've been having the likes of Tucker Carlson, Vivek, Larry Elder. Now, Candace Owens is on there speaking to them about the state of Black America's mindset and how she once was on the side of those who may be a little more liberal-minded today. Let's check this clip out.
So I started researching more, learning more, and then I got kind of angry, like just with the lies, because I do think Black Americans are intentionally manipulated emotionally by the media and, you know, kind of kept dumb but emotional intentionally by the school system. And I started reading up on like Thomas Sowell, Shelby Steele, a bunch of Black scholars I originally had dismissed as Uncle Toms. And, you know, irony now is I get called an Uncle Tom all the time. So I got what was coming. But yeah, and then I realized that actually I've always been a conservative. I just didn't know it. And economically speaking, of course, the conservative arguments make the most sense.
Does that bother you that people call you an Uncle Tom?
No, not at all. First off, because if they read the book, Uncle Tom was the hero. But also because I get it. You know, how can I fault people for something that I would have engaged in for the majority of my life? I thought the same thing about Black conservatives. Like, I thought it was this betrayal, but I never actually understood it. It was just an emotional response. And I think that kind of is, if you come out of the public school system, I can't imagine how you could be a Black conservative when just the way that they even tell us our own history is just not true, you know?
Wow, man, she hit on a lot there, saying that if you went through the public school system, she can understand why you would be, you know, a little more wary against conservatives. And somebody who can attest to that is myself, because I was once the guy on the left like, hey, man, what are they talking about? Uncle Tom this and Uncle Tom that. And just like her, I went and started doing some research just to have talking points against the people whom I disagree with. But it was all emotional once I realized that when I started looking up the information, I realized that a lot of my responses were emotional simply because the facts weren't lining up with how I was feeling. Candance Owens recently parted ways with Daily Wire, so some are still looking at stuff like this as don't fall for it. In fact, somebody wrote, bro, don't fall for this. She just got fired from Daily Wire. This is her next grift. When in reality, her rhetoric isn't changing whatsoever. She's been maintaining the same stance for as long as I've been following her. The situation concerning society and politics is becoming increasingly chaotic, and it's evident that our government is grappling with a substantial and ongoing debt issue. This turbulence could potentially have an impact on our banking and financial circumstance. Both our government and financial institutions are actively pursuing the elimination of cash transactions and a transition to a central bank digital currency. This shift would allow monitoring of every transaction, essentially making an end of financial privacy. It's undeniably concerning. And this is why it's crucial to diversify your investments and protect your savings in this current era of government, aka the Lionomics era. To navigate this, I recommend guidance from the experts over at the veteran-owned Midas Gold Group, who have been assisting individuals across the nation for more than a decade in safeguarding their wealth and families through physical assets like gold, silver, and other precious metals. The reliability of gold quite simply speaks for itself. I want you to take advantage of this offer, so text Kingdom to 232425 and receive some free silver. Yes, you heard me correct. You can also reach out to Midas Gold Group by calling them on the number displayed on the screen or by visiting the website at MidasGoldGroup.com. You can even have direct communication with the owners who possess decades of experience in the gold and silver markets. So once again, don't hesitate. Do it right now. Text Kingdom to 232425 or call Midas Gold Group at 480-360-3000 or just visit the website, MidasGoldGroup.com. Now, unlike the Ebony K. Williams Breakfast Club interview, let's see how DJ Envy and Charlamagne respond to Candace Owens when she attempts to educate them on what's really going on in Black America.
Now, it's first off, trillions of dollars you're signing these omnibus bills. If you read into it where that money is going, it's insane. It's literally going, you know, to museums, boards of museums. They're quite literally money laundering is what's happening when they sign these bills. But they keep it so that the information level is so low for Americans that it's like, oh, so bad, like we're going to give you a check that's like, you know, $300. This basically describes welfarism, right? Like, despite the fact that there's been trillions of dollars since the establishment of welfare, Black Americans are poorer today than we were before it. people don't know this, but during the time of Jim Crow, before welfare was established in the 1950s, Black Americans were actually outpacing white Americans in this country in terms of economic growth. And the reason for that was because our families were together. Like, we had good values. The government only wants to give you the bare minimum. But where's the rest of the money? Where is it going? They sign these bills making you think that this money is going to you. It's not. They are stealing from the American people. And you look at your congressman, whoever it is that you guys sent down to DC, and you realize that they're all just puppets. I feel like we're watching a performance, and who can say the most outrageous thing. The Republicans don't want to sign this because they want, slavery and they want you back in change. The Democrats don't want to sign this because they want grandma to die. Whatever it is, you're watching to me, it's a play.
That's why I don't think. That's why I think if you're Black, you shouldn't be beholden to any political party, Democrat or Republican.
Right. I mean, I think that any concept of saying that I am a Republican forever, a Democrat forever, is a nonsense. You should always look at the candidates that are running, and any person that is running saying that they want to grow government is your enemy.
Why do you think people give you a lot of backlash for questioning people and having questions? I see all the time with Charlamagne, if we question something that Kamala Harris did, or question something that Joe Biden did, or question somebody that's Democrat did, why do you think our people have so much backlash when you ask so many questions?
Well, because I think that they don't realize that they've been manipulated against their own interests. And a lot of it is, when you start telling the truth, you become a problem to the establishment, right? So if you're the military industrial complex and you want people to just kind of sleepwalk into another war, and I'm sitting here telling you that, Pentagon just can't keep finding the trillions of dollars that they send overseas. They've got this budget and they're sending all this money to Ukraine, and then they say, oh, we don't know where all the money went. It's being laundered and it's being sent back to a very small group of powerful people. And so when you have someone like me who's cutting through all of the emotional arguments, you have to turn that person into persona non grata, right? And what better way to do it than to have their own community attacking them and saying that they're, pro-white or anti-Black. I mean, it's a nonsense things that they say about me. If you listen to what I'm actually saying, I'm sitting here providing a blueprint for Black Americans to get ahead, because it's time, okay? It's time. We've been doing this for a very long time in this country. Black America, wake up, okay? They don't like you. They don't like us, okay? There's
so you're
not
anti
government.
Yes.
Government.
America.
Yeah, like the government, the American government. Why would you think the American government wants to help you? Well, at what point in history has that proven to be right? And I'll challenge that, and I'll make it wider to all Americans. When has it ever been the circumstance that you felt that the government really just was out for your own best interests? Think of them as a corporation. They want to grow themselves. They want new departments, bigger departments, larger budgets, like any other corporation would want. And they never want to leave DC because we don't have term limits, which we should have, right? If we had term limits and said, you can only serve for 4 years, well, then guess what they would be doing for those 4 years? Trying to shrink government, because they'd have to come back out and be us, right? When you look at the way that your tax dollars are being spent, you should be outraged. You should be angry, but stop thinking that the enemy is, they constantly have us arguing against each other, women versus men, Black versus white, It's a nonsense. The reason why they want us constantly warring is because it distracts from all of us coming together and taking a look at who the real criminals are. And the real criminals are this small group, this small cadre of powerful people that I think we're virtually all still on a plantation. They just made it look nice. You got a nice chair. We got nice chairs here. But I think we're all still on a plantation.
Shut up.
Man, she laid it out so smooth. I didn't see any emotional kind of assertiveness from DJ Envy and Charlamagne as we've seen in previous interviews. I have to question why, I'm not gonna lie. Could it be because they've been getting flamed with every, conservative or Republican, let's say that, guest that they've had on their podcast as of recent, they've been getting, destroyed. Maybe they decided, we know about Candace, the whole get a helmet stuff. Let me ease up a little bit, make this reasonable. I will say this shift is starting to happen where people are beginning to consider. It's almost like it's been these emotional responses that come with hearing the truth is starting to go, I done did that so much now. I'm tired of screaming. Let me actually give a chance to this information. And once you do, you start to realize, I'm starting to see tweets, or what would you call them now? Because it's called that. Anyhow, I'm starting to see tweets now from people saying things like, I never really liked Candance Owens, but watching this full interview, I agree with a lot of her talking points. And I found that to be very interesting because, boy, I've been called Uncle Tom just like her for a long time for agreeing with the talking points. But that's neither here nor there. The bigger point of it all is that people are beginning to see the truth. Others still will say that this is a lie.
So you trying to tell me that all Candace Owens had to do is show up for an interview on The Breakfast Club and sing the theme song for The Fresh Prince for her to be invited back to the cookout? Mind you, this is the same woman who said fuck BLM and that George Floyd is not a martyr when nobody even called him that. We just said that he doesn't deserve to. We don't care about his past. It ain't about where he was or where the fuck he was doing. It's about the fact that that black man deserved to live. She keeps repeating the same rehearsed talking points. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago under Donald Trump? Absolutely. I'm doing way better under Biden than I ever did under damn Trump. And she said it only makes sense for her financially to be a conservative. We absolutely agree. We know why you're a conservative. You're the only black person in the room. You're a pick-me. You're a hot commodity when it comes to conservatism because you are a token. It is very rare and a few to find a black person who's willing to coon the way you do.
Now, I couldn't play that clip in full simply because of the language, but he really went in on Candance Owens about her support for Donald Trump, and he brought up some things saying that Donald Trump is this and that, and brought up the fact that she never accepted the invite from Roland Martin, and yeah, pretty much went on to continue to call her a pick-me. This is from, I don't even want to say his name simply because I don't want anybody to be doing no bullying and harassment, but I would like to, how can I do this? Yeah, I don't want to encourage y'all to go out there and say what you want to say to him, because you know that's how this whole channel got in this position anyway. Really, it didn't, because I never told nobody to do it, but that's what they assume. That's what they're telling me. That's the reason why. Yeah. Anywho, Candace Owens, we appreciate you. I am inspired by you, and I appreciate everything that you do, not only for Black America, but for Americans, period. People in general. I appreciate what you bring to this world. And yeah, man, keep doing what you do. As far as all of this goes, the truth is starting to come to the light more and more each day, and we're excited to see that. And you notice they really ain't had no rebuttals at all. At all.